Hi, everybody. Good to be back with you. And it's the end of our first actual month here in the save. And so I thought that we could go over a little bit of the monthly reports together and sort of see what it generates. I think this is different for every single type of team in Football Manager, depending upon how good your performance analysts are. Now, I'll give you my complaint first off, because this is what we see here, right? Post-match analysis comes not from like all the matches that we played. It comes from the last match that we played, which is kind of stupid. So if you go over here to the schedule, you can see that we have played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 competitive matches here in August, as well as all these friendlies. Nobody cares about the friendlies, apparently. We've won like everything. I didn't even manage these friendlies, so don't ask me what's going on, right? We won 5 in a row. I look at that and I think, okay, well, you should show me like what happened with the 5 matches in a row that we won, right? Nope. This will show you the last match. So yeah, we had good overall momentum. Great. We had a high XG. They didn't have anything. We completed 210 passes, which isn't that great. They completed, whoops, wrong one. Here we go. They completed 205, but look at their passes are all together down here, and we would just go take the ball and get a shot, which is the way it was. And then we scored a little bit, not any goals in this match from long-range shots. You know, that's how it goes. What I would really like to see from Sports Interactive is something that actually talks about 5 matches instead of the last one, right? Because, I don't know, whatever. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is, so overall match momentum, this is the one I was talking about. But look, this is exactly the same thing, right? Now, we can look at team attacking performance, which is okay, right? I mean, it's really good, I guess, for this league. And then we'll see a few, like, kind of generic pieces of information about some of our players. But again, I mean, what does this tell me, right? So he's scoring 1.76 goals per 90 minutes. He has 2.77 key passes per 90 minutes, right? It basically, these stats will tell me that he's playing well and he's playing above average, right? But I kind of need to know something more if I want to know, like, am I playing him in the right role or not? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're not really getting that sort of information here. We're kind of looking and saying, okay, well, we have at least a good striker and a good defender. And Afa is playing okay, who I used to call Afi. Afa is playing okay in terms of like comparing himself with other left wingers in the league, right? There's not too much you can say. And then it shows me like worst performing attacking player, worst performing attacking team analysis, important dates. We'll go ahead here and see what else we can find, you know. But overall, the problem that I have with this is that while there is some information, and while this is a lot better than what Football Manager used to give you around this point in time, what I really would like is information that can be specifically used to analyze who is playing in the right position, who's playing in the wrong position, and can we like dig deep into this, right? As far as I understand, and from what I've read on various websites and among people who have advice for this, you kind of have to know what you're doing beforehand. In other words, your in-game people will not like give you that level of analysis. Nobody will come over and say, hey, you know, whatever, Maile is playing the attacking forward role. If we instead made him a complete forward or something like that, that might fit his game a little bit better. Now, this is especially important when you're playing in the sort of save that I'm playing in, right? Because we're doing it hardcore mode. And what that means is that I can't just look and be like, oh, look, this guy has such and such attribute for this or for that. Well, then clearly he's going to fit into this specific role for this specific position, right? That doesn't exist here because we're not playing that way. The way that we're playing this is we are playing with no attributes on, with no star ratings on, and with no way to cheat. Right? The only way we can figure this out is either by sort of guessing or by having the game tell us, and the game won't tell us very much. It means there's a lot of guesswork involved. Now, that might be a little bit realistic, right? I would argue that that's probably more realistic than having a number for someone's attribute, but it's only up to an extent, right? You would probably be able to tell if you were in American Samoa looking at these players, hey, this guy is, you know, clearly has the skills to be a striker, even though he's playing in the back. You know, some idiot coach earlier on thought that he was a central defender. He should be a striker. Let's move him up. Or you could look at this, guy in the left wing. You could say, you look like you don't know what you're doing out there. Let's put you here as, a central midfielder, and maybe your skills will be more suited to that, right? That sort of thing I would like to be able to see and like to be able to do here. That's the sort of thing that we're missing from Football Manager. It'd be really, really helpful to do that. I wanted to look at a little bit more that comes in here at the end of the month. But we're still waiting, which is the other trick about this save. This is the thing that you don't often see, which is just how much time elapses between each game. It's usually the case that I have to sort of like put this on in the background when I'm doing something else, like go do my real job for a little while and wait for this to finish processing, because it takes quite a bit of time. Thanks to all the leagues that we have loaded, and also especially thanks to the level of detail. Here we go. It's that level of detail, I think, that really, really gets to you. And do we have anything else interesting here? Not too much, other than we are going to sign, apparently, Kangun Chul. And so, okay, we say okay to that since it costs us nothing. And then we have to wait a little bit more. What I'm waiting for is the rest of the end of the month information, and I'm not sure if we're going to even get that or not. So let's take a look and see. But yeah, if you are going to do this yourself, if you're thinking, hey, I'd be really interested in doing the Hexagon challenge or the Pentagon challenge, I'm going to load everything up and have a shot at it, be warned that you may want to run into a lot of screens that are like this. This one, like I said, is particularly bad because of the detail level. If you want this to take less time, you can fiddle around with the detail level and maybe not have it on so high for some of these leagues. But at the same time, if that detail level is not on very high, the level of realism and the accuracy of the results is going to vary. So it sort of depends upon what you're willing to, deal with and what seems okay or not okay to you. I'll tell you this, earlier on and I'll stop you from looking at that screen, when I had the save with BYU and the NCAA challenge thing that we had set up most recently, I wasn't waiting this kind of time between screens at all because I only had a single league loaded, or single country, that is, all 5 leagues or whatever it was in the United States. And so as a result, going from one part to the next was taking like maybe 5 seconds, whereas here it takes a couple of minutes and it takes a little bit of time for the computer to get done with stuff and to go think about it. So that's kind of the way that it works, and you get used to this from time to time. That's how Football Manager works when you have your detail on at this level. I believe that there is a trick that you can use to get the game to allow you to continue while it's processing in the background, but I will have to look that one up. That sounds like fodder for another video. And let's see if we can do anything here to get this sped up. So if I click over here on Browse like I just did, it doesn't do anything. So much for that concept and so much for that idea. As you can see from our upcoming schedule, we have a bunch of matches coming up here in a row. And yeah, I probably stopped that too early because nothing happened. We have one. We just had this one. We have 1, 2, 3, and this is all either 3 or 4 days apart from each other, which is part of the reason why we have to get used to rotating. Yes, this is going to continue, and it's going to continue to move forward slowly. Hopefully here in a second we can get to the other part of the end of the month, which is the financial part, which is the other interesting thing to look at. But another place where I think that Sports Interactive probably could do a little bit more work and probably could give us a little bit more pertinent information than just sort of like throwing like a letter grade at you and throwing like, here's what your budgets look like in general at you. And yeah, it's going to take a little while here, unfortunately. So I will pause this and we'll be back as soon as we get to that screen. Hi there again. Boy, that's pretty interesting. So we came up and we have no monthly performance, monthly report from the board. I'm not sure if this is because it's the first month or because of whatever is going on. So we'll take a look at that quickly for ourselves. Usually it'll show you a screen that says what the finances are like. Transfer budget and wage budget are both 0 still, of course. No surprise. We do have a minuscule scouting budget. Actually, it's kind of higher than I was expecting. Overall budget is €4,839, and it probably will increase if we keep playing the way that we're playing. We have no gate receipts at all, which is interesting. So I suppose we don't get any income at all from playing. It's completely amateur, other than a little bit of match day income. And we do have a sponsorship for €7,000. I wonder what that even is. In fact, we can take a look at that here. It's our main kit sponsors. So there you go. If you ever are in the market for a PanSa East FC shirt, now you know where to go. And we don't have too much by way of expenditures other than the scouting costs, which are kind of stupid because we're not going to go anywhere to scout anybody, so whatever. Nothing to look at here in terms of wages or anything like that. The interesting thing here, really, no debt, of course. Interesting thing here really is the projection, which is going upwards, like I said. Especially if we play well, that might move up faster than we think. But we're probably not going to become a semi-professional side, not here where there's no money to be made at all. Financial status is okay. We'll always be okay because, I mean, what are we going to do? I guess the best that we could do is like improve some facility or something like that, but it's probably not going to happen. Club Vision's the other place to go. People have told me they don't like this aspect of the Mustermann skin. I actually kind of like it. I think this looks pretty good. We'll just go over here to the what the board say about us. No, I'm sorry. We have to go over here to performance. There we go. So the board gives me a B. Supporters give me a B. Right, the board are concerned that we give up too many goals. Actually, supporters are as well. Generally, in Football Manager this year, the board is way too hard on you. This is known, and people have posted about this. You notice that there are no criticisms anywhere, right? So, I mean, I don't know what else to say, right? The fans give us a C because players are in such good form. I mean, what's up with that? We won 5 matches in a row, and we've dominated the opposition, right? It's totally crazy, but anyway, there you go. This is the stuff that normally that would come at the end of the month. I don't know why this didn't come up at the end of the month the way that it's supposed to. So maybe because we have too many things loaded, or maybe because it's American Samoa and they're like, you probably don't even care about it. I don't know, whatever. When we have this in the future, I will definitely let you see and let you know what's going on. Like I said, though, it would be nice if this information were a little bit better, right? So usually on finances, they'll just show you something that looks like a miniature version of this. Right? Whereas the interesting thing for you is really not that, it's this. You want to see the projection and where things are going. I don't understand why they don't show you the projection. In fact, what I don't understand is if you have a professional team, why you can't sit down with the front office and look at this and say, okay, how are we doing? Are we spending too much on wages, right? Should we sell players now? Can we afford buying the players that we want to or that we need to be able to compete, right? Because when you just look at the summary, it's not going to tell you much. You need to know the projection. Especially if you're like in a place like, I think it's England, where you get the money from the television contract like at the very end, right? You need to know ahead of time what that's going to look like so you can budget it instead of just sort of looking at these numbers and saying, oh, look, nice, fancy numbers, right? Same thing really does go for the club vision. It's nice to know how the board thinks about you, what is good and what is bad. It would be nicer, though, if this were better combined with the overview and with what the goal is, right? If the goal is to finish mid-table this season and then have a top table finish next season, and we go look at how we're doing right now and we see that we are top of the table by 5 points, right? What we should do when we go back to this and see this is we should have some reference to this. And they should be saying, instead of we're making progress towards the club's vision, they should be ecstatic and saying, wow, I think maybe we can make first place, right? And instead of a report card being handed to me, wouldn't it be nice if I had a meeting with the board or if I had a meeting with the supporter spokesman and we talked about this stuff, right? That sounds like it's a little bit more interactive to me than just getting a report card. Anyway, there you have it. There are a couple of my feelings on this. Apologies for the length of this, as we had to spend a lot of time waiting there. We'll do better with this next time. And I will see you tomorrow with more information and fun stuff. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.